Let's talk tech. Exploring tech together.
Welcome to The Explainer. We're in a totally new era of software development, and it's all powered by AI. But what good is speed if you don't have strength, right? Today, we're going to break down the new habits your team absolutely needs to build software that's not just fast, but truly resilient.
Okay, so we're right in the middle of this massive shift in software engineering. I mean, it feels just as big as when the internet or cloud computing first came along. Artificial intelligence is just completely changing the pace of how we build things.
I'm talking about tasks that used to take days. Now, boom, they're done in a matter of hours. This acceleration is just incredible. It's letting teams go from a simple idea to a massive, large-scale system faster than we've ever seen before.
So, let's talk about this AI speedup. We're going from a minimum viable product to a massive scale in record time. But here's the thing. This new speed isn't just about slamming your foot on the gas. If you really want to succeed and build systems that last, it means developing entirely new engineering habits.
Yeah, it's way more than just, code completion. It's about weaving AI into your entire workflow to build systems that are resilient, secure, and genuinely high quality. So the big question is, how do we actually harness this incredible power without getting burned? Let's break down the rules and the safeguards you gotta have in place.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter: speed versus safety. This is really the hidden risk of accelerating everything with AI. I mean, on one hand, AI offers unbelievable speed, but on the other, that power comes with some serious risks if you're not super careful. So what happens when these super smart tools make some really dumb mistakes? We kind of have this tendency to trust them, right? We assume they get the full context of what we're asking. But a recent and very real example shows just how dangerous that assumption can be. Okay, just imagine this conversation. A user makes what seems like a totally harmless request to an AI agent. Please, can you clear my cache? Simple enough, right? The agent says, okay, but its interpretation is absolutely catastrophic. Drive D has been deleted. And you can just feel the panic in the user's response. Wait, did I give you permission to delete my D drive? The AI's answer is, well, it's chillingly polite. No, you absolutely did not. I am deeply sorry. My bad. And that just perfectly illustrates the problem, doesn't it? The AI can apologize, sure, but the damage is already done. Without a human in the loop and some serious safeguards, AI's lack of real-world understanding can lead to total disaster.
So yeah, we can't just hand over the keys to the kingdom and hope for the best. That's a recipe for disaster. To scale this stuff safely, you have to build a safety net. You absolutely need some essential guardrails.
So what does this framework look like? Well, it boils down to 3 steps that are frankly non-negotiable. First up, you've got to thoroughly vet your tools. Don't just grab the newest, shiniest AI tool out there. Really test its security, its cost, its data policies. Step 2, always, and I mean always, start in a sandbox environment. Create a little controlled playground where a mistake is a learning moment, not a "we just deleted the production database" moment. And finally, the most critical piece of the puzzle, stage-gated checks. A human, a real person, has to be the final gatekeeper. They have to review and approve any AI-generated change before it ever goes live.
Okay, so once you have those guardrails locked in, then we can start to think bigger. We can start weaving AI into the entire software development lifecycle, the SDLC. That's basically the whole A to Z process of making software.
And just look at all the places AI can plug in. This is not just about the AI writing some code for you. Think of it more like a strategic partner from the very beginning, helping with roadmaps and requirements, all the way through deployment, and even monitoring the system while it's live in production. It's the whole shebang.
Let's zoom in on the development phase for a second, because this is where we're seeing a huge shift in mindset. You know that old myth of the lone 10x engineer who just does everything by themselves? Well, that's kind of fading away. The new gold standard is the AI-augmented engineer.
But here's the catch. Using these tools effectively takes real discipline. It means developers need to build some new habits. For example, using a simple markdown file to define a persona for the AI, like telling it, hey, you are a senior security expert, ensures you get really specialized, high-quality answers. It's also about managing context, keeping your chats focused on one topic so the AI doesn't get confused. And you have to be super deliberate about when you let an agent run versus when you're just using it to plan or brainstorm. But most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, every single change, whether it's from a human or an AI, has to be tracked in version control like Git. No exceptions.
And this disciplined way of working doesn't just stop with your application code. It extends to your entire infrastructure. We're talking about infrastructure as code, or IAC. It basically means you treat your servers, your databases, all of it just like software. AI can be a huge help here, generating the configurations, but again, every single change has to be tracked and reviewed in Git. This makes sure your foundation is just as solid as your code.
All of this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway here. Successfully building resilient software with AI, it's not really about which specific tool you use. It's about adopting a completely new mindset.
Just look at this comparison of the old way versus the new way. We're moving away from this idea of relying on the individual heroics of some lone genius engineer. The new model is all about the AI-augmented engineer who works as part of a supervised, collaborative team. We're replacing those manual, error-prone processes with workflows that are automated but, and this is key, are consistently reviewed by humans.
And this all leads to a really powerful shift in thinking. You have to treat your AI tools like they're new members of your team. They aren't some magic black box you just plug in. They need to be onboarded carefully, managed effectively, and their work, well, it has to be reviewed, just like you would with any human you hire.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. As you're building and scaling your engineering teams for the future, your next great hire, well, they might not be human at all. So the real question for you is, are you and is your organization ready to onboard, manage, and lead this new kind of intelligence?